Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy. And today we're going to be talking about finger choils. The dreaded finger choil conversation. I've been meaning to have this one for a while. I've actually been wanting to do a video about this for a while, and I know I've alluded to it in a lot of my other videos that I personally, and this is just a personal thing, so don't beat me up in the comments, but this is just my opinion. And you know, if you didn't come to this channel for my opinion, why are you even watching? But I personally don't like finger choils. I think that for the most part, it's a fad, and you know, a finger choil done well is fine, and there's just certain places where they don't belong. You happen to be looking right now of 3 excellent examples, and they just, okay, don't take this as a Work Tough Gear thing, because these all happen to be Work Tough Gear, but 3 excellent examples of where a finger choil does not need to be. We're going to get into that here real quick. First off, though, what is a finger choil? Everybody knows, but for the people who don't, it is this little finger cutout that is typically in front of your standard handle grip. You know, you got your handle there, and then it just gives you a little position up here to get that blade a little bit more dangerously close to your chubby fingers like mine. But in all reality, the whole point of a finger choil for certain knives, besides being a fad, in my opinion, is for balance, for using a knife for an up-close, finer task. And I think SE, for the most part, minus their SE6, which I didn't feel like bringing out, it does a good job with their choil, to where I don't feel like it's taking away too much from the knife, because you know, in a sense, you get that full thickness out here. And you know, SE could have brought this blade back and sharpened it up here, but I don't think it would have added anything to the knife. So therefore, a choil on an SE4 like this, it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I don't feel like it takes away anything from the knife. Same thing with this SE3. Also, neither one of these are big, hard use knives. I mean, you can hard use them, but they're not meant to go out just, I mean, beat the crap out of them. You're not chopping down a freaking an oak tree with either one of these. These are for smaller tasks, and for smaller tasks, you might want to get up close. You know, this knife isn't so out of balance. Okay, like right there, there's your balancing point on here, so puts it right in the center of your hand to do fine tasks. Fantastic. SE, and not just SE, there's other companies too. Let's look at another one that I don't mind. Here's a Tops Longhorn buoy that has seen better days. You see that rust that's growing underneath? I haven't used this knife in a while, but it has just been sitting around and growing rust underneath this, I don't know if it's Cerakote or whatever they use, but either way, this also has a finger choil that doesn't bother me. And it's mainly just because, like I said, it doesn't take away from the functionality of the knife. You have your standard hammer grip, you got your choke back grip, and then you got your up close fine tasks grip. And to be honest with you, anything over 6-7 inches that has a finger choil, and that's just for me. You know, I know other people have different opinions. You're wasting knife blade, you know. put on your specs that you have a 10.5 blade instead of a 9.5 blade. Put me some edge down there. But this is another choil that I don't feel takes away from the actual knife itself. Now, the reason I say this is a fad is because, you know, not always have these damn choils have been around on knives. And here's a perfect example right here. The beloved Becker BK9. Not a frickin' choil to be found on here. Also, the Becker BK2. I don't have one to show you. Not a choil to be found. And yet, people regard these things as fantastic outdoors knives. SE Jungless. Didn't want to grab it. No choil. Excellent outdoors knife. Also a large knife. They don't really need a choil on a knife this big, and you can't tell me I can't get up and do fine work with this crap. You know, if I really had to, if this was my only knife that I have, which I'm gonna get into in a minute, because I just call ridiculousness on that whole situation too. Because, you know, on YouTube we like to play the whole one knife option because it's a fun game to play, but in all reality, anybody who's gonna have one of these on them is probably gonna have a smaller knife like this on them as well. You know, typically, we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, No choil to be found on these, because it is not a close-up, let's make some feather sticks, let's carve a spoon knife. You don't need a choil on it, and highly regarded by the knife community as an excellent knife. Now let's get into some knives that, in my mind, it becomes questionable, or, oh my God, facepalm, what the heck were you thinking? Quit being a trender. Why did you decide it this way? And my number one culprit, this happens not to be my knife. And also too, a lot of these are Work Tough gears. I just happen to have a bunch of Work Tough gears right now. So don't take it I'm beating up on Work Tough gear. I freaking love Work Tough gear. This guy is a prime example of absolute what the F were you thinking with this damn choil. I mean, this knife could have had an 8-inch blade, but instead we're stuck with 7 1/4 because, you know, we wanted to have a freaking a damn near 1 1/4 choil on here for some reason. I mean, it just leaves so much of this knife 3/4 of an inch as a waste to me, in my opinion. If this knife just had a straight edge back to here, you could get up in there and you could do fine tasks. Why? And it's not like it's a huge knife. It's not so out of freaking balance. Let's see where the balancing point is. It is right there. You are pretty damn balanced if you were to do this. But for some reason, God, who did this? Outer Limitless. Nothing against the dude. Good dude. Just don't like the choil. But yeah, that's number one. Here's another example of a terrible knife choil. Same problem I have. This knife is a huge knife. This knife has a an over 10-inch blade, but yet we're rocking over an inch of choil here. It takes up so much of the knife. And also too, I mean, like, as a not a knife designer but a knife user, why would you drop this guard here below the actual edge of the knife? Like, that just seems ridiculous. It just looks out of place to me. It looks like if you just cut it down to there and rounded it out, I'd probably have less of a problem with it. But then again, so this is the Work Tough Gear Wilderness Pouzon buoy. I ended up picking this up from Gabriel at the last Huntsman, and here's another one with a massive freaking choil. Like, yeah, that's the balance point of the knife, but this knife is not meant for fine tasks. What are you going to do with this? You're going to gut a fish? Are you going to you gonna carve a spoon? You gonna make a fire? No. 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 And absolutely not. Because this is where it gets a little wonky for me. This knife is a massive knife. This was sent to me by Scab, Choir Boys Cutlery. Go check him out. He just hit over 100,000. Awesome dude. 11 3/4 of an inch to the guard here. It's a chunky knife. We're talking freaking 17.5 inches of knife. If you were designing this knife, you already got this down here. Bring that freaking blade right back. Fill this shit in, and it's just a big freaking knife. You are not. This thing is so massive. All right. Yeah. Bringing your hand up closer a little bit, it's going to bring you to that center mass on this thing. But are you really going to be using this to carve a spoon? Are you really going? I mean, even God, and this thing's just one of those prime examples of why you don't need a freaking choil and why it's a fad. This is a fad decision right there, in my opinion. I'm gonna start calling them fad decisions. But this knife is so forward heavy, even with the choil, it don't even make any difference. And let's just say, we got our hand right here, so I can get up there and do those fine tasks that everybody loves to do that nobody does, to where if I was just holding the knife right here and that blade came back, I can get up right here, do all those fine tasks that everybody loves to do. I don't get it. It's just it's just one of those things. It's my opinion. I know I sound like I'm being a jackass, but I'm really not trying to be. I'm just trying to truly understand this thing. What is your guys' opinion? Is this a fad? Is this function? I can understand the function of, let's say, the SE4, a small knife that you would be doing small tasks on. If you are the person, and I was going to get into that earlier, if you are the person that's going to buy this Work Tough Gear, God, was the Mountain Man, a mountain of a freaking knife, right? Made for one thing, chopping. There's just no other way around it. Why are you gonna have a blade that thick and that long to make a feather stick? You're not. Now, just because a knife can do more than one knife things, you know, you could sharpen up a butter knife, right? You can sharpen yourself up a butter knife and go out and do some woodworking with it and stuff too, but it's not meant for that. It is designed for spreading butter. This one was actually spreading epoxy. But this knife is not designed to be a one-tool option. This is designed to be a chopper. A chopper. Nobody knows what this thing is designed for. I don't even think Eric does. But back to this, the SE4. It doesn't bother me. It's not taking away anything from the knife. Would I prefer it not to be there? Probably. Do I think you could probably benefit by choking up on this little tiny, easy to wield knife? Probably. This guy? No. No, no. And another one from Scab. Absolutely freaking not. The Gargoyle does not need a finger choil. That's just my opinion. But then we got other knives. This is another Work Tough Gear. This is the Work Tough Gear Wolverine. Perfect example of something without a freaking finger choil, because they did make one that is called the I can't remember, I'll put it in, but it has basically the same knife with a finger choil, and I don't see the benefit of it because I can get up and carve on a stick for some intricate tasks just as easy. I don't need to have my finger up there in the way, to where with this guy, good freaking Lord, what are you doing? It's absolutely crazy. Another example is the Architect Knives 5.5. They do make models. I had the 6.5, which I ended up trading off to the Last Huntsman for this guy. But a no nonsense, no choil knife, and guess what? You could still get up there and do yourself some fine tasks. You could do yourself some feather sticks if you were into that kind of thing. You know, you don't need to be like this. I don't see the benefit. I don't see the control on a bigger knife. And also, like I said, anybody who's going to carry one of these into the frickin' woods, it is going to have a separate knife on them. It's just the way it is. The weekend warrior camper is not going to have one of these. You have to be a knife guy to have one of these. And if you're a knife guy, you're not just carrying this monstrous buoy around, or even something like this guy. No non-knife guy is going to have a frickin' a Tops Longhorn buoy. They're not. But they're going to have a companion knife. They're going to have a smaller knife. They're going to have a pocket knife or an EDC fixed blade knife. They're not going to be having these monstrous knives, which tells me, it's like, okay, let's just try to use our heads for a second and just pretend we're all out camping right now. If you are truly in the woods trying to make a fire, and you have the option of using A, the Work Tough Gear Mountain Man to make a feather stick, or B, the Vosteed Mink, what are you really going to use? Let's just be honest with ourselves. You're probably going to use the Mink. Way more control, way more less chance of hurting yourself, and way more less chance of hurting somebody around you. You got a freaking dog or a kid or something, and you're over there making, no, it ain't going to happen. Let's just be real with ourselves. So anyways, basically what I'm getting down to this video is I'm trying to get everybody's opinion, because I have already made my opinion on this. But what is your opinion on finger choils? Do you like them? Can you either have them or not have them? Do you hate them like I do? Anyways, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.